Tracy.bish here, your Stampin' Up demonstrator in Central Victoria, Australia. Welcome to Tracy's Sunday challenge for Sunday the 11th of September. This week's challenge is a sketch challenge. Now I know that the ladies that join in weekly with my sketches, with my challenges, love the sketches, so I'm excited to see what you create with this one. I actually created this card first and then thought I'm going to use it as the sketch, so which is super exciting. I'm also sticking with the Halloween theme because, you know, I want to get some of the Halloween products that I've purchased in good use just throughout the month, and it's going to be too late next month. So, yeah. Hi Melinda, how are you? Welcome. So this is the sketch here, the card base, and we have a couple of squares in the middle and then a circle. I'm using my stylish shape dies like I always do, so that's really exciting for that circle. Hi Glenda, good morning. Hopefully everyone's having a really great weekend, whatever you're up to. I will say that weekend already. I got lots of crafting done yesterday and I've got the full day to myself today as well because my husband is actually going and doing a first aid course for CFA. So I'm home alone and I've got the whole day to craft and not feel guilty about it. So that's awesome. Good morning, Wendy, or good evening for you in Wales. Good morning, Wendy, as well. Oh, a couple of Wendy's, awesome. Okay, so let me show you the card that we're going to create today. It is this one here. I love it because I love creating the background with heat embossing, and then you've got the cutest little witch there. This is the Best Witches stamp set, which I love that Stampin' Up have the cutest Halloween products. So that's this one here. I have also been using the Scary Cute bundle quite a bit, so this is both really fun. So two gorgeous little witches there. We have a little frog, the stars that we're using here on this card as well, and some really great sentiments. So this, if you're doing a Halloween cards, this is a really great one to play with because lots of colouring that you can do. So we're using our stamping blends today. And yeah, so this is the sketch that I've created from this card. All right, so I'm going to move this to the side and bring my card kit in. We have a basic black card base. Now you can find all the measurements for this card over my blog. There is a link to that blog post in the description, so you can go over there and have a look. We also have a piece of basic white for the inside. I've cut down my granny apple green and gorgeous grape. These are obviously great Halloween colours, as well as pumpkin pie. I'm bringing a little bit of the pumpkin pie in with our blending, so that will work out quite well. And I also have I just grabbed a piece of basic white for our die cutting of our circle. So obviously with the circle, stylish shape dies. These are the best dies to have. If you're only going to have one set of dies in your stash, I highly recommend these ones. And we're going to use that largest circle. Alrighty, so I'm actually going to do my die cutting first, just because I want to stamp my little witch in memento, and I like to wait just a few minutes to let that dry before I start colouring in with my stamping blends. I find if you leave it just that little bit of time, it will also stop it from bleeding when you're colouring. All right, so let's run this through. Oh, thank you, Melinda. Yeah, it's a bit of a cutie card. All right. I'm using my magnetic mat that Stampin' Up no longer sell, but I'm loving it. It's nice when your dies don't move around on your platform. Okay, so let's stamp our witch first, and you can choose either one. I like that little cauldron. I think I also need to this afternoon, before it gets too late, is go and clean all my blocks. I know I think I said that last weekend and I didn't get to it, so I'm going to make that priority, because I pulled out one of my blocks yesterday when I was crafting. Can you see the blue on that? So apparently that's got a lot of blue ink on it. So that's pretty bad. I do need to clean them. So Memento is the ink that we use when we're colouring with our stamping blends. Gorgeous. So I can pop that one to the side a little bit. Let's bring in our card base. We're going to heat emboss straight over the top with that one. And because we're doing a lot of heat embossing, I'm going to bring my embossing buddy in. This is a powder tool that will stop any stray powders. Stampin' Up actually sells a embossing kit now, and this is one of the things that are inside it. So if you don't have an embossing buddy, you can get them through my online store with that kit. There is a tray, there's tweezers, there's a couple of tools in there anyway. Versamark ink for our heat embossing. And all I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to, because we have oils in our fingers, so you really don't want to touch it, because when you put the oil on the card, it will attract that powder once you put it on. So I'm just going to stamp all the way around. I could actually, hang on, because we don't need to stamp in the middle, I'll just pop my finger in the middle and that will save all that issue. So I did quite a little bit of halo stamping because I've got such a heavy hand in my sample card, so I'm going to try and not do any halos this time round. Can't promise, because yeah, I always say to use a light hand, but I don't end up following my own advice half the time. So we're just stamping around. You can see the watermark ink where you're stamping, so, and white stars on the black background looks awesome. So you want to stamp off the edge a little bit as well. I can also come back in once I've heat embossed it if I need more stars. So hopefully that'll be fine. I've got my white powder in my container. Oh, Melinda needs to clean her blocks as well. Look, I'm sure we're all probably in the same boat. It doesn't take much for them to get dirty. And I've actually got glue on some of mine, so I like to use my blocks when I'm gluing things down to hold it. So I pop my acrylic blocks over the top. So I always get a little bit of my liquid adhesive on it as well. So they need a really good clean. Need a little bit over here. That's pretty good coverage. I'm happy with that. Like I said, we're going to cover up the middle anyway, so it's not going to matter too much. Make sure there's no powder inside. I have my heat tool here. This is the Stampin' Up heat tool. Really great heat tool. There is 2 settings on it, 1 and 2. You're going to pop it onto 2 to heat emboss on cardstock. If you're heat embossing on vellum, or if you would like to just gently dry your, if you've done a watercolor background or something like that, you can use the number 1 setting. Morning, Marianne, how are you? I have no idea what the day's going to bring today. It's sort of a little bit overcast out there. I'm not sure whether we're supposed to get rain. But it won't matter here in my craft room, will it? So we're just going to melt all that powder. And I love how much that white embossing just really pops on the black cardstock. What's everyone up to today? Are you doing anything exciting? Or having a nice quiet Sunday? So this is going to warp our card just a little. It's not going to matter too much. There is a little trick to heat embossing, which I'll show you once I've got all this powder to melt, that will help to straighten it out just a little. Sometimes I'd rather use like a matting piece to heat emboss on, and then you place it on the card front, or the card base. But I found with my sample it didn't do too much damage, or didn't warp it too much, so it was fine. Marion's going to garden and craft. Awesome. Hopefully it's not raining then. And Melinda's just made tacos and then a little work this evening. Oh, awesome. You've still got a whole sleep and till Sunday, so it's always funny being a whole day ahead of you guys. Okay, so I think that's all pretty much done. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to open the card up and just heat lightly on the back, and that will help to straighten the card out. And especially when you're watercolouring, this works really well when you've popped a lot of water onto your card. All right. Now, I did pop the embossing buddy over the top of that, so I did leave a bit of a powdery residue. I always just keep an old microfiber towel in my craft room, and if you just go over that, that lifts up any of that powder that was left on there. Perfect. Alrighty. Now I think we might start colouring in, because that probably takes the longest. I've got a few different blends here. Let me go through them. I've got Petal Pink for the face. We've got Granny Apple Green, Highland Heather, Daffodil Delight, Basic Black. I've got a Crumb Cake and Pumpkin Pie. I think that's all of them. They're the ones that we're going to be colouring in. So I do have the light Petal Pink, and Stampin' Up now also have a lot of skin tone ones. So if you have those, they work really well as well. So I'm just going to do basic colouring on her face, and then just do her hands and legs. These could be leggings, but I've got her where she's just walking around bare feet. Alrighty. So her hair, I did choose Daffodil Delight. For that little bit of pop of colour, and we can also do around the buckle. Perfect. I'm doing her dress in the Granny Apple Green, and I'm just adding the dark down the bottom. And the light for the rest. You can blend these really well. It does take a little bit of practice. But it's also pretty forgiving for beginners. These are like a beginner alcohol marker. Or you can just colour in just as I've done here. Okay, so I did focus on her cape, and the rim of her hat is in the Highland Heather. And I did do a little bit of shading here. So with the dark, I've added the dark along here and underneath. And then with the band along the edges. Like that. And the same on this side. And then we can come in and just blend it all in together. I'm wondering if I'd used a different colour, because this is very different to that. Hi Sean, how are you? It's still Saturday there too? Yeah. I hope you've had a lovely Saturday. Let me have a quick look, because that is definitely a different colour. I wonder if I did Rich Razzleberry. Well, let me get another piece of paper. Nope. There's no Gorgeous Grape. So that's not what I've used. Unless I've used the colour and I haven't put it back in my in my caddy, which, yeah, that could have happened too. Anyway, I'll have a look later and see what I've done, but all good. All right, so I'm also going to bring back in the Daffodil Delight for the little cauldron flames. I'm going to colour in the whole flame in the yellow, and then come in with the pumpkin pie just for that bottom piece. Gorgeous Grape. Marion, I don't believe there is a Gorgeous Grape in the Stamping Blends, which is why it's confused me. And I did use Highland Heather. No, that's Fresh Freesia, that's why. There we go. Yep. That is sold. I've actually picked up Fresh Freesia instead of Highland Heather. Oh my goodness. I need to get some labels to put on there, so when I'm picking them up I know exactly what I'm picking up, because as you can see they all look very similar. I'm actually just gonna change this up a little bit because we can, and we worked it out. I will admit, I was crafting yesterday and I was talking to a friend, and then it got really late, so I didn't get my stuff out for today, and I've just come out here this morning and grabbed it. So I'm not as organised as I'd like to be. So I've got Purple Posy there as well, so that's another very purpley colour, which is why it's so confusing. So this will look a little bit different because I've gone over it with that other colour, but it'll be fine. Has that pinkish tone to it, doesn't it? Yeah, that looks so much better. Let me show you. She's so cute. All right, I'm gonna crumb cake the little logs. And I used my light with my sample. This one is the dark. There we go. And with the pumpkin pie, those little bubbles that are coming up through, I'm just going to colour them in the pumpkin pie as well. To bring that colour in. Alright, we have the light and the dark basic black. I think I'm going to use my dark for the cauldron. Being careful I don't go over my flames there. And just by adding that little bit of pumpkin pie, it gives it a little bit of character to the flame. Cute. Alright. I'm going to colour in. I did do some shading with the witch's hat in the light and dark basic black. I really didn't like it, so I ended up going over and just colouring it straight in the basic black, which is what I'm going to do again today. But if you have those skills of being able to do this, the colouring and giving it depth, go ahead and do that. I've got to find some patience to be able to start doing it, I think.
Unknown caller.
Sorry, everyone. Okay. Almost there. Now you can grab another colour, like a, I don't know, pool party or something like that, and just do around her, so she's not floating on white, or even give her some grounding there. I'm going to leave her exactly the way she is. Alright. So we have that one ready to go. We are going to bring in our gorgeous grape as well as our inside card, and we can do some stamping with that one. Now inside, this one here, I've just added the sentiment best witches and the stars that we're using. We have already inked this up with the Versamark ink, but I'm just going to use my gorgeous grape over the top. That Versamark is not going to affect it at all, so you don't need to clean it. If you're worried about it, you can clean it, but it really doesn't hurt your ink pad at all, the Versamark. In fact, if you're colouring and heat embossing with the clear powder, that is what you do. You ink it up in the Versamark first, and then in your coloured ink. That way you're not getting coloured ink into your Versamark. Make sure you do it the right way. And then pop your clear powder over the top. And that way you can heat emboss in any of our Stampin' Up colours, which is awesome. Okay. Nice little detail there. Obviously you don't have to do the middle, because you're not going to see it, but I still went ahead and done it. I'm going to grab my sentiment there. That is a really dirty block. And yep, just going to stamp that down and add some stars in as well. And then we can just start popping the card together. So I'm going to use my liquid glue for that. Popping our inside piece first. There is a cute little frog in this stamp set as well. You could stamp the frog on the inside. We're going to glue these two together with the liquid glue, but we're going to pop up the granny apple green piece. So just with some dimensionals. I've got a rough edge there from my paper trimmer. Just sand that back. Okay. I need looks like I've only got minis on my desk. No, this is not going to be enough. I'll have to go and grab another packet. So I'm just using the bones of my dimensionals. You can use every part of your dimensional sheet. So you're getting a ton of value with your dimensionals. And these end pieces are really good for different shapes. So if you're doing a like shaker card, you can use the whole length along the side of your card. So enough for that one. I will have to get another packet out though. Sean, you're cleaning your craft room. When you're finished, can you come and do mine? Mine's a constant mess. You clean it up a little bit and then it goes back to being messy super quick. Hi Nicole from Perth, welcome. So we're just going to pop her up in the middle. Let me grab another pack out of my drawer. Averaging a pack a week at the moment. I'm still doing my swaps for on stage in Sydney, so going through them. And then we can pop this one up as well. Now there's no, I have no ribbon or no embellishments on this. You can add anything you would like if you want to create this one. But hopefully, while we've been creating this, you've been coming up with some ideas for something to create for the challenge, because I'd love it if you joined in. The more people, the merrier, the more inspiration for everyone as well. So even if you don't have a chance to join in, go and check out what everyone creates and leave a comment for them. I know they would really appreciate it. And everyone loves to get a little bit of feedback on their creations. So there we go. Isn't that so cute? The background is just gorgeous with the stars embossed. Really pops off the card. So there we have it. That is this week's Tracy's Sunday Challenge. I'm going to bring that sheet in again so you can see that card sketch. Here it is. So cute. All right, everyone. If you would like to join in, all you need to do is take a photo of your project and then go over to my Facebook page. There is a post there with this challenge photo. Just go into the comment section and leave your card in that section. And yeah, we'd love to see what everyone creates. So please join in. And are you going to On Stage in Perth, Nicole? I'm heading to Sydney. Sydney's a little bit closer, so, but that's great. Have you started your swaps yet? Oh, thanks, Sean. Yeah, thumbs up, everyone. If you've enjoyed today's card, I would really appreciate a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, you can do that as well. That way you're not missing anything. Judith says there's no yellow this week. A little yellow. You can do a card with yellow, Judith. You've done so well last week. Thank you, everyone. Oh, Nicole's thought about her swaps. Awesome. The only reason I'm doing my swaps now is because I'm heading overseas for holidays before we go. So it's sort of do it now before I go, because when I get back, it's the following week that we get back that we're going to On Stage. So I won't have time in that week. Oh, Sean, you're going to use yellow. Awesome. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate the thumbs up and your lovely comments. It's always nice to have a few on here watching as well, so I'm not just talking to myself. Yeah, if you need any of the supplies of today's card or any other card, you can do so in my online store. Use this month's hostess code. I have some wonderful specials or wonderful program for all my customers. You'll receive a handmade card, and I do have it here. Hang on. This is this month's handmade card, so I'll send that in the mail. And any orders will also receive the bundle tutorial for September. So this one's packed full of wonderful cards and projects. So you'll receive that one in an email. If you spend over $100 using the host code, I'll also send you the Simple Sweet Stampers tutorial bundle, and that is the Rustic Harvest for this month. So nice little extras just for shopping with me. I do love to spoil my customers, and yeah, so hopefully those entice you. All right, everyone, have a great Saturday night or Sunday, wherever you are, and I'll be back on Thursday for another video at 5 p.m. if you want to come back and join me. Until then, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all really soon. Okay, bye-bye.